If you're interested in learning more about how you could use solar power to meet your energy needs for your home or your shop, this is the video for you.
Hey, this is Daddy's Workshop in the Carolinas, where we treasure things made and restored by hand. So in the last video, we crossed 1,000 subscribers. What a big milestone and threshold. Wow, it's been growing fast. Really appreciate all the support and subscriptions and the questions and the comments and feedback that have made this what it is, and looking forward to how it continues to grow in the coming years. The business really is growing and working quite well, as I wear 4 main hats: furniture making, machinery restoration, still involved in education with some tutoring, and then doing some writing and speaking. They sort of fit together in this broader picture of what it means to be a human being, how we can find meaning in our lives, what's going on in culture and history and philosophy and theology, faith and family and so forth. Try to create a meaningful life with all those things and encourage others to do the same. Right? So in that last video, I just created a little competition to see who could come up with the best idea for future videos. And I got a lot of video ideas from viewers and subscribers on email and in the comments. Really appreciate all those ideas. I've taken note of them. And those are going to be some of the videos we'll do in the coming months and years. But the winner was Jeff from Virginia. Jeff's idea was to do a short video about my solar-powered workshop. I've got a solar power system that powers the workshop and our house as well. And it's been a great thing for our family for many years. So that's what the video is going to be about today. Stay tuned. So a good solar power system starts with a good place to get the sun. So the way our house is oriented, it is exactly right on north, south, east, west. So this is the west facing roof completely that gets all that afternoon sun here in the south, which is plenty to power our house and shop. So this system on the roof here, as you can see, is quite large. It's actually a set of industrial panels. There was enough room to use industrial sized panels to make this happen. And it comes out to be about 8.5 kilowatt system, which again is sized well to cover our needs for the house and the shop. So it all starts on the roof, or in the case of a place where you've got a good piece of property for mounting the panels on stands that would be mounted in a field or something like that. And also they have mounts that track with the sun, right? Depending on the size and the amount of money you want to drop into a system. In our case, the way our house is oriented, like I said, it's exactly in the 4 directions: north, south, east, and west. So this area of the roof is getting all the afternoon sun, and in the south, where we're located, that's enough to take care of our needs. So it all starts there. We'll follow it from there. So from the roof then, we've got to get all that direct current energy down to our electrical panel area. So in our case, we've got the system then, like I said, on that west facing roof, and it comes down here. You can see there's a conduit right near this gutter here. So there you can see the conduit from a junction box, and then over to this area here where we've got a lot going on. So let's talk about this area here a little bit and all the things we've got going on here. Okay, so as I said, it all starts on the roof in our case, where we have our PV array, our full photovoltaic array of panels. And that direct current energy then is coming through the conduit here, down into this box here, photovoltaic power source. And then we go up into the inverter. Right, we have a DC disconnect, and then this large Sunny Boy inverter, which is sized properly to handle our 8.5 kilowatt system. And then this is the box where we go from direct current to alternating current, and then from there we work our way into our meter. We've got a disconnect here as well to isolate the utility from this inverter and to keep the actual power coming in from the grid and the power coming in from the panel separate if you need to work on these things. So there's a disconnect here and a disconnect here. And then we have 2 meters, okay? We have the original meter from the house, and then the meter that calculates how much power is coming from the panels, right, and working its way into the grid. So basically this is a net metering system. In my opinion, this is, I think, the most efficient way to do things currently. When we did our system, that was several years ago now, I think it was 7 or 8 years ago, and electricity storage at the house via batteries was extremely expensive and not very efficient. And so it makes a lot more sense in our case to do the net metering system that our power company was utilizing.
and we own the panels. There's a lot of companies that try to lease panels to you, and then you pay a fee each month and so forth. To us, that didn't really seem to make too much sense, so we went with the route of buying the panels and the system outright. There were a lot of incentives at the time, state rebates, federal rebates via taxes, and then our energy company had a dollar per watt rebate. So in our case, that's an 8.5 kilowatt system. You can do the math on there, that's a large rebate. So in our case, the payback period was very short because of all those rebates. It was really between 5 and 10 years. And this system has worked so well in our case that we can power both the house and then the workshop, which is out over there about 30 yards that direction. I'll turn the camera in a minute. And it is taking care of our power needs. We just have a hookup fee to the grid each month that we usually pay. Very few months out of the year do we actually pay any electricity bill besides the hookup fee to be hooked up to the grid. And then also there is a little bit of a rebate at the end of the year if you're putting more power into the grid than you're using. Right, so that's the idea again of the net metering. We're keeping track here of what we're putting into the grid, and then here's the original meter, which is keeping track of what we use in our house. So basically each month then it's a net system, at least the way our electrical company does it, and it's worked very well in our case. So basically that's a very, very brief summary of how these things work. I'm just going to zoom in real quick on this inverter to show you as it actually keeps track of the amount of electricity that's being produced each day. Okay, so this is the display panel on our inverter, and you can see here it's got the categories of power, day, and total. So right now you can see it's about 5,550 watts of power that we're producing up on the roof. Today so far we've produced 16.89 kilowatts, and then you can see total through the life of the system we've produced 65.562 megawatts. So this keeps track of the amount of energy you're producing at the moment, and then the day, and then through the total system. Again, it's been a very good system. We've been happy with it. We've had it for about 7 or 8 years and no maintenance at all. The only thing that has happened here, the only thing I've ever had to do anything with is with this inverter. There was a bird nest that was behind the inverter. There was a wren that was trying to build a nest back in that area there, and that created a problem once, sort of a ground fault interruption. And so instead of having that green light on the display panel here, there was a red light. And so from there it was just a matter of troubleshooting. See the green light there, there was a red light that lit up instead. Then it was just a matter of troubleshooting and resetting everything and getting that bird's nest out of there, and then everything started to work perfectly again. So that's where everything is mounted on the back of the house. And then from here we go to the shop, which is right here. And so I've buried a cable from the electrical power source here to the house, which connects the shop to the grid as well. Okay, so we'll go out to the shop and just recap everything. So both our shop and our house are powered by this system that is up on the roof, which we just looked at a few minutes ago, and then mounted to the back of the garage here and so forth. So it's really been an amazing system, been very happy with it, and we'll just finish it up in the shop.
And so there you have it, a short little video about our solar power system for the house and the workshop. It's worked great in our case for many years. It's met all of our power needs and more. Big thanks to Jeff for the video idea, and some takeaways for you. If you're thinking of powering your house or shop with a solar power system, here are some of the things that I would say, some tips for you. First off, if you can buy the system rather than lease or rent the system, I would suggest going the buying route if you can do that. The leasing or renting approach does not seem to really make much sense in my opinion. Companies that are doing that, I don't think you really get as much bang for your buck in my opinion. Also, make sure that you work with a reliable, reputable company that has been around for quite some time. In the solar installation realm, there's a lot of companies that are popping up, sort of fly-by-night companies. Before we put the panels on our house, and even since, honestly, people have stopped at the house with business cards and so forth saying, hey, you want to install solar panels and so forth. It's just sort of shady. So you need to look at references. You need to call people that have used the company and ask them about the installation, about if they're happy with the product and so forth. Make sure that you're working with a reliable, reputable company, not one of these ones that's just popped up to do this solar thing in a certain area and then disappear when the incentives go away from state and federal rebates and so forth. And then lastly, another piece of advice would be to reduce your electricity usage, right? That was one of the things that when we built our house, we really wanted to design an energy efficient house. We did an enclosed open cell insulation system that goes all the way up through the attic, right? So we have an enclosed system, enclosed shell, which really reduces our energy costs to begin with for heating and cooling. And so anything that you can do to reduce your electricity consumption also means the size of your system doesn't need to be as big. For our size house, we use way less electricity than most people because of the efficiencies of our house and our habits with not using a lot of electricity. So those would be the 3 things I would say, 3 takeaways. Right? So I hope the video has been helpful for you. If there's anything else I can do for you about solar panels or solar systems, if you have any questions, feel free to get a hold of me and I'll see what I can do. And like I always say, if I can do it, you can do it. Peace.